of Community Service Hour, broadcasting live from Twitter, Twitch, and now YouTube. Maybe you want to take the floor and tell us about what you read here?
Yeah, sure. So when I first came across that article, before I even read it, the thoughts I had were, well, this is strange. Like when you think of like Bitcoin in comparison, you can mine with any hardware, no matter how bad the hardware is. You won't make money, but the participation aspect of it, anyone can participate, and no one can modify the difficulty. The difficulty is entirely dynamic by the participants on the network. And when I saw the title of the article, I was like, wait, someone out there can just change the difficulty at any request. I mean, I know that there's like proposals and stuff like that, but just the ability to do that makes me think like, okay, well, in the future, are they going to change this number again? Are they going to limit more participants perhaps? I mean, just the possibility being there, very unattractive. It should, in my opinion, at least, it should be entirely dynamic. Now, I wouldn't know how that would work, but participation in such a network should be allowed to like anyone with any varying amounts. And it didn't seem that important, but just the aspect of being able to modify either of those values, whether it's a min or a max, is just, it just doesn't sound like a great model to me.
I agree. This is one of my main criticisms of Ethereum is the amount of control that the people that created it still have. The fact that they can just go have a meeting, not even publish an EIP, so like you literally had to be there, discuss these things, and then shove the idea down everyone's throat last minute. This is not a minor change. This is changing the minimum cost to be a validator from $60,000 to $4 million. It's a pretty big change. And why are they making any changes? Bitcoin doesn't make changes. Bitcoin's doing great. If Bitcoin wants to make an upgrade, you need to get a lot of people to agree on something, and they need to vote by upgrading their clients. Ethereum is just somebody who has access to ethereum.org blog, posts it, and then you have to upgrade or you lose all your money.
Yeah, and from the perspective of ETH devs, like what is their objective perspective argument here?
Their concern is that it looks like there's too many validators and we don't need that many.
But isn't it better?
Yeah, isn't that a good thing?
Well, I'm just trying to understand like what is their position, like if we paint it in the best light, what are they trying to solve?
There's two of the things that they were proposing in here. One of them is to change the price for being a validator. Currently, you have to put up $60,000 US to validate for Ethereum. And there's good reason that you need to post some money. So instead of having 1 million of these validators sharing these messages and coordinating, there will be, we're guessing, 1,000, maybe less than 1,000, hundreds of them connecting. And hopefully that those hundreds will be able to connect with each other faster. If the network has smaller dimensionality, that means one message gets from one side of the world to the other faster. The second half is there's another thing that they're proposing to add, is auto compounding staking. So what that means is so what happens today? So if you're a validator and you validate, you receive a reward, that's money. And so you do work, you get paid. So you're doing the work of validating. Work equals pay. And then if you want to get that money out, there's this freeze process. So it has to go on ice for 40 days or some long amount of time, and then you can eventually get that money. They're proposing instead that this will become auto compounding. So if you do this work, then you receive money again, but you also receive compounding on the original money. Or you can't with a straight face say, oh, well, we're paying them for working. Okay, so if they work, you're paying them. And if they work again, you're paying them again. But you're paying them more if they don't take their money out. Isn't not taking money out the same thing as putting money in? So you're paying them for putting money in. That is a security. I hope that we've all figured out what things we're not supposed to do here. That is something you're not supposed to do. So auto compounding validator payments baked in at the Ethereum level, like things that Ethereum core people, the Illuminati, in Switzerland are doing, that are making everybody upgrade, right? That's a problem. Normally, Ethereum Foundation is a very conservative organization. They would never do something that makes them look like a security like this, and they thought very carefully before doing staking. So I can't imagine that they're going to adopt auto compounding. We just got done, getting the SEC, the CFTC, Europe, MiCA, everybody, FINMA. We just got finished getting everybody to accept that Bitcoin is money. Bitcoin is money. Everybody agrees. And they're like, well, Ethereum's probably money too. And then we did this whole staking thing, and they're like, well, yeah, it pays a yield, but probably still money. Like, those are the two ones that are exempt. Everything else is basically a security.
Is it fair to say that since there is less validators, the exchanges that allow you to buy Ethereum are going to have even more power, like a ridiculous amount now? So ridiculous that I think if the exchanges were to disagree with the foundation at some point, just out of the blue, wouldn't they be in a perfect state to do some sort of 51% attack?
Yes. So I'm going to say a couple things here. One is this did not happen already on Tron. So Tron's got 13. They are a much smaller network. We have not seen it. Tron is a client of mine, or was, or something. So still honest notes that I'm saying about them. Number two, even though there's 800,000 validators right now, a majority of them are just a few people. So there's already consolidation. The incremental change is that, instead of Coinbase having, 1,000 validators, they'll just have 5. Same amount of money, but then it will exclude anybody who doesn't want to pony up $4 million. So yes, I agree with you. It's going to be less people. And yes, this is a major concern too, because right now, what's the first thing that they're going to censor? Tornado Cash. They're going to censor Tornado Cash.
I was going to say, but I didn't want to.
I don't think it's a problem yet, because all it takes is one validator to accept that transaction for it to be finalized. What's up, Rabbi?
Hi, I would like to share my project with you briefly. May I do so?
Yes. If you have a link, I can pull it up on the screen too. We're also live on Twitch.
Oh, excellent. I'm live on YouTube on 7 different YouTube streams. I've been streaming my life 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year for now more than 2 years. It's the most amount of data that anyone's ever uploaded to YouTube as a single account or a single individual. I have over 100 YouTube accounts, over 100 Instagram accounts, over 1,000 TikTok accounts. I stream my life for world peace. I don't want people to have war anymore. Essentially, this is a time capsule going back to the pandemic. We have the death of a queen, the birth of AI, the coronation of a king, and everything in between. I do my best to document life and with absolutely no privacy, like The Truman Show or like Big Brother. You can watch me eat, sleep, go to the bathroom, shower, bathe, shave, brush my teeth, and all the other things that a human does. And I think in the future, people will study this from an academic standpoint to be able to study people's eating habits, drinking habits, certainly their bathing habits, their circadian rhythms, essentially one big human zoo. I am someone who is doing my best to promote world peace. Some of the things I'd like to do once this stream becomes viral is to help world hunger through vertical farming, through hydroponics, through cloud seeding and world thirst, through desalinization plants, through life straws, through digging of wells. Some other things that we discuss on this stream that aren't normally discussed in society that I'd like to make more mainstream are anti-gravity, antimatter, transhumanism, life extension technology, mind uploading, some really interesting things. And yes, I'll post some things in the chat. I appreciate the opportunity to discuss.
Yeah, I have. So thanks, Rabbi Rothschild. I appreciate. There's definitely some people that I've talked to in the scene that think privacy is over, and they think that this is a lot of times we talk about blockchain stuff on this call. So publishing things, having accountability. I just got back from China. Everything is recorded. Everything you do everywhere there's a lot of things that are just recorded up, down, left, and right. When you drive, there's photos of you at least twice per minute. Everything you go to, you have to check in with your ID and scan your face. So that was a shock for me. Personally, I've taken a big interest in 1984 and some of the downsides of that. But there's also a lot of academic research, a lot of things that are not shared, you can't research. So if we are sharing these things, we can research them. And you've got a cause here.
The days of privacy are over. I do my best to make it memorable and easy to catch with the eye.
You've talked about your vision here and your motivation, but what do you think how are we going to get there?
Great question. So essentially, we need to re-inject the discussion of world peace into the global discussion. When I was a kid, and probably when many people in here were children, or even before, we had peace movements. We no longer have those peace movements. People don't discuss world peace anymore. We don't discuss the ability of coming together. And really, it starts at home. You don't have any right to put your hands on me. I don't have any right to put your hands on you. That's first and foremost. Additionally, there are some aspects that we can inject into the global discussion, such as the protection of children. In the United States, currently, it is legal in many states for schools to use corporal punishment on children. I don't think that that should be legal. I don't think that any person has the right to put their hands on your children, particularly if the child doesn't consent, particularly if you don't consent. So there's some protections that I definitely give the children. Additionally, I think that the technocracy or the corporatocracy, however we want to describe it, discriminates against women on the basis of their gender. And I'd like to stop that. And when I say that, I can be on my YouTube stream with my shirt off without any issue. I can show my nipples and everything's fine. I can do the same on Instagram. However, if I'm a woman, I will immediately or nearly immediately lose my account. I'll lose my ability to provide for my family. To me, that's de facto discrimination. Those are some things that I certainly want to stop.
One note about that: I'm a photographer, so I'm very familiar with the laws on nudity in public. And New York, actually, it is legal to be bare-chested, male or female. And the reason why is specifically on the gender equality grounds.
That's fantastic. But unfortunately, if you're a woman in the state of New York and you're bare chested on YouTube or Instagram
Yep.
or Facebook, you'll lose your account so long
Yeah.
as you're not breastfeeding or something like that. And I wouldn't change those types of laws. But I think that's very progressive in New York. And I'd like to see the rest of the United States adopt that. Essentially, I'm an advocate for people in general. But additionally, when it comes to women, I don't think that we should discriminate on the color of someone's skin, nor of the content of their skin. I don't care if I'm seeing someone's genitals or someone's breasts. Essentially, that's how we're all born. We've made it fine in this society, and you would know this as a photographer with National Geographic, that we can go into another country and violate someone's privacy essentially with a camera and publish that throughout the world in a magazine, and that isn't an issue. But if we do so with a Western person, all of a sudden it becomes pornography. Pornography is a subjective definition. And as Justice Potter Stewart said, I'll know it when I see it, and he's dead. So essentially, we'll never have
No,
a
we'll never
definition
know.
for that. Exactly.
That's a good point. Yeah, we all know that phrase. We'll know it if we see it. And then, and he's not going to adjudicate those anymore.
Absolutely. And so I would be someone who would advocate for dropping the pornography laws, because essentially one person's pornography is another person's art. And you can't discriminate between the two. It's too subjective.
Well, how is this connected to technology or some of the other topics we talk about? This is directly connected because blockchain and publishing things for millions of people, across borders is multicultural. Free speech is multicultural. I do a lot of East and West stuff. A lot of stuff we're talking about here, you can't do in China. And
You're right.
I like your approach. Is why can we take photos of people, in these other countries and put them in National Geographic, but we can't do the same thing here? The FCC has a reckoning coming.
I'm in agreement with you. Essentially, people may say, well, I have children and I don't want them to be able to see these things. Well, there are filters that you can put on the internet, and you can ensure that these things are are censored in your home. But that doesn't mean they have to be censored for everyone else. If you have an issue with nudity, that's an issue with you. That's your subjective opinion of sexualizing someone. Many other people don't sexualize other people in the same way. And really, it's a discussion that you may have to have with yourself if you consider someone who's topless to be a sexualized being. Because in many places, it's just someone might be hot and want to cool off. And just like the state of New York is saying, they don't want to get involved with what is a man, what is a woman. I don't think the technocracy should be either. It isn't.
There's a good one. I'm going to give you a nice reference here. It's the top one on Reddit. I don't know if Reddit's still here, but it's "Am I the asshole?"
Oh yeah, definitely.
One of the top ones on there is about nudity, and it's someone's like, an American is going to Italy, and they're staying with their friends, and their kids are nude in the pool all the time, and they want them to stop. And are they the asshole?
Excellent. Well, I appreciate it. And thank you so much for allowing me to contribute and to tell you about my project. And hopefully it gets us one step closer to world peace. I appreciate it.
Thanks for sharing. Thanks for putting it all out there. I see your video here. I'll definitely check that out. I put you in the notes here.
Essentially, this is what I feel in the modern age, what we would have in the past to have been cave drawings or Renaissance paintings or the early photographs and videos that we had of society. We study those from academic levels, and I think people will do the same with what this is, which is essentially not just a live stream, but a life stream. And the thing that makes this one unique is it's all archived. And I make sure to have redundant streams in case one of the streams goes down. And I additionally stream not just on 6 different streams on YouTube, so you can see me from front, from back, from the sides, from the ceiling, from my PC, but you can also view me on 7 different Instagrams. I'm always live. So I have my entire life on Instagram as well. So in case I get canceled on one of the platforms, hopefully I'll be able to get out the message on the others.
Keep up the good fight.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Happy 4th to you and have a wonderful day.
Cheers. Happy 4th.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was a nice surprise.
This is exactly what I've seen multiple blockchain people say. Exactly the way he's saying it.
Yeah, there's definitely alignment in their perspectives.
It's funny that some people are like, I love Bitcoin because it's anonymous. And other people are like, I love Bitcoin because everything's public and not anonymous. And it's like, okay.
Absolutely less anonymous than cash.
I do have I guess one last question for the validator topic.
Yep.
That I was thinking about. So a while back, there was that Ronin Axie Affinity hack, I want to say, where the hack actually involved the actual validator node, like the
Right.
Koreans broke into the validator node. And I wonder, like, if you have less validators because of this proposed change, are those validator like nodes public? Is that public information? Like, are they listed somewhere? Maybe it's a simple denial of service attack, just because people have access to set IP addresses. Are those like...
The list is public because you can always it's a peer-to-peer network, so you can just connect to all of them. Yes. Also, yes, reducing from the current number of validators to less validators makes it more prone that every one of those just could be attacked wholesale.
Yeah, it was a low validator count, and like it was like 9 or something like that, and they had like access to like 4 of them out of the 9. Yeah, I think definitely most people would go towards like a third party to host it, but I wouldn't be surprised if I saw like certain people out there that are like, well, I have $4 million. I would not trust, AWS with that. I'd rather run my own. Like, I could definitely see it go both ways. Just, one being more stubborn than the other, I guess.